What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. The boys are here, although we are missing one. Enoch is busy. He's going to be doing a 24-hour stream, but we're here. We're ready to talk Apex. Before we get into all of that stuff, though, just want to give a quick shout out to Clara at work. Something very traumatic happened to her, and it looks like she's come out on the other side safely and okay. So we just want to shout out Clara. She tweeted out, been in urgent care since midnight, currently getting transferred to the hospital for a gallbladder removal. Never felt this awful in my life. Need positive thoughts right now. And then luckily, I think just 2 days ago, she said the worst is finally over. Things were starting to look real bad when I went to the hospital, so got transferred to the ICU, but came out of surgery a couple of hours ago and am already feeling much better than earlier. Time to rest and recover, and it seems like she's eager to get back to streaming. So shout out to Clara. Hopefully she's doing okay. We're sending our best wishes over here at the Apex, the podcast. Shout out Clara at work. Hopefully she's doing all good. Finn, weird week this week because we don't have Enoch, and also we don't have a ton of stuff to talk about here. But we're going to try to make it fun. We're going to try to have a fun little section of this episode where me and you just kind of reminisce a little bit on old Apex things and kind of, I don't know, just hit the reverse button, go back in time, take a time traveling memory lane walk together as two buds, as two friends.
Time traveling
memory lane walk. I said a time traveling memory lane walk. We're going to do that. And we're going to have some fun with it. But before we do that, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm good. So normal day of work this week. It's been chill. I've enjoyed my week this week, actually. Pretty good. I have been grinding Diablo. New Diablo came out, and it's kind of all the craze that's been going. Is it craze? Is that
all I think it's all the rage. That's what
I thought it was
all
craze.
The rage. You could probably fill it in. You can say both.
I don't know. I don't actually know which one is which. Anyway, doesn't matter. I've been playing a lot of it, and I've enjoyed it. But I have gotten to where there's a wall where you have to put in a gross amount of hours to keep progressing, and I think I'm done. So I feel like I got my money's worth. I played quite a bit. But this is the issue, Wyatt, and I want to hear your feedback. I don't know how often do you buy games?
Used to be a lot more. Recently, it hasn't been as much just because of my schedule is pretty insane with both shows and then working. So it's I haven't really gotten. The last one I really tried to dive deep into was Red Dead Redemption 2, and I loved that game to death, but I was never able to finish it because I just got busy. So I don't
That's actually so sad because that was a great game.
I know, right? The last legit game I bought that I wanted to grind, it's been a while, dude. I think it is Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm trying to think if anything else came to mind. So every other game I purchase is either fighting games or sports games, which I don't consider grindable. It's more just you just have fun with it,
Right. I guess for me, here's my issue. And you tell me if you do this as well. But I will get a game, and obviously it's the most hype about it, and I'll play the game for pretty much as long as I need to beat the game. And then once I'm done with it, I'm like, dang, I already beat it. I don't know what to do. I just spent this much money. Granted, at least Diablo has more of a grindy factor about it, which I do enjoy, but I don't know if I enjoy it enough to where I would keep playing it. I guess I have it purchased, so if something, if one of my friends is like, hey, get on, I'll have a character high enough that I can go and do some stuff, hopefully. Anyway, I was just thinking about that, man. I just spent $70 to play a game for 7 days, right? So I just feel, I don't know, I feel weird about that. Whereas obviously with Apex, I've spent money on cosmetics, and that's just my choice. But there are people that don't spend that much money on Apex, but they get the most out of it because they're playing it. I don't know, but it's free, right? They never had to pay for it. I don't know. It's just an interesting concept. But
I'm kind of different in the way that I don't like to beat the game. I like to try to find all the side missions and all the weird things and do all that. Like I never even beat Skyrim to be honest cuz my I got so obsessed with trying to plunder every cave on the map and I just wanted to go into every single cave. You should have seen the despicableness of the map that I had when I was trying to plunder every cave. Like my mini map looked like a death sentence. You couldn't see a damn thing because all the caves were just all over it. Um, that was I like doing that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't actually like beating the game. I don't know why.
that's so
Yeah,
wild to me.
I know.
I'm the complete opposite where I want to beat the game, but then after I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with my hands, right? And you're
Mhm.
just like, you're a completionist minus the main story.
I'm a completionist, minus like the completing part. Like I just do dumb stuff, and I'm like, this is great. Like same thing happened with Red Dead Redemption. I was like, I just want to get the legendary animals, and I remember I spent 3 hours searching for like the legendary deer, never found it, and so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just stop playing this game. But yeah, I'm weird like that. But no, I see what you're saying though. You
But
do
that's
anything else
been,
this week?
yeah, that's pretty much been my week. I'm trying to think. Did I do anything else? No, not really. That sounds so sad. Wow. But no, I didn't. Ooh, okay. One thing. Sorry. One more thing. One thing. I did go. So, do you have an Andes where you're at in Fresno? Do
No.
you know what that is?
No idea.
Okay. Andes is frozen custard, which is, I don't know, just ice cream and custard is different than ice cream technically, I think. But it's pretty basically ice cream, and they had a strawberry shortcake concrete, I guess is what it's called, and it was delicious. So that was like a highlight of the week, and that sounds really sad that that was a highlight, but it was really good. I kind of want to get one at the end of the week for a reward kind of deal. But that's been my week. That was very long winded to say that it wasn't that productive, or not productive is not the correct word. Not very crazy or extravagant, I guess would
Yeah.
be mine. What about you,
Yeah.
Wyatt?
It's been weird. Yeah, if I was gonna eat any concrete, it'd definitely be strawberry shortcake flavored. That's what it would be.
Mm,
Um, so remember a few weeks ago when took a grandstand for Enoch's teachings, and I said it's so much better when you live that way. And then I followed it up with a caveat saying there's going to be a lot of times though where you feel like you can't do that. Uh, that's today for me. I failed. I failed, and the whole reason I'm bringing this up is because I feel like uh, I I think there's a large group of people out there who are just like life is too real sometimes for me to not get a little bit flustered or upset. Definitely happened today, which was remember how I was telling you I was having car troubles?
yep.
So today, my truck literally died in the middle of the freeway. I was driving, like going 30 miles an hour, and it just turned itself off. And then I tried to turn it on, and this wasn't a place where I could go on the side of the freeway. It was a connecting ramp from one freeway to another
Oh
freeway.
no.
So I have just people behind me, and I'm trying to find my hazards, can't find it because you know how when you're stressed, you just overlook shit.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
can't find it. Finally, I click it, and then I feel so bad for the person directly behind me because they literally can't move. And it's like we're all going to work, and they were probably late today, and I felt so bad. But finally, I like tried to turn it, and it finally turned over and started, and I was able to get to work, and that was fresh off of last night changing out the one part that I needed to fix my truck so that I could get it smogged. Because in California, you have to get it smogged every 2 years on
what
top
is
of buying
smog?
your tags. You don't
No,
have to do
explain what
smog.
no, explain what smogging is.
Basically, you take your car into a smog shop, and it has to be an authorized shop, and they test it for like harmful whatever, like harmful stuff that comes out of your vehicle, and it
We don't
has to
do that.
pass. You don't do that at all? You're so
No, we
lucky. You're so lucky, dude. I hate this state. Um yeah, you not I wouldn't hate it if it was like, okay, if your car was made after a certain year or whatever. No, every 2 years, and you can't get your new tags unless it passes smog. And you can't take it into a smog shop if the check engine light is on whatsoever. It doesn't matter if it has to do anything with like emissions or anything like that. So
Wait.
definitely
So hold on. You have to then in before you even go to the smog shop, you have to go to a repair shop or like a I don't know what that's called, but
whatever. Yeah, like a
a
mechanic.
garage. Yeah, a
Hmm.
garage. And make sure that it doesn't have the check engine light if you already had it on or whatever.
If you go into a smog shop with the check engine light on, they will immediately tell you you failed, and then you got to go back and get it fixed on top of your tags you just paid for, right? Because you have to pay for your tags every year, right? Like
Right.
your tags. So you got to pay for that on top of every other year. You have to pay for it getting smogged, and if there was any check engine light on, you got to pay for that.
Dude,
So
that is
it
wild.
Yeah, so I'm a month behind. I don't even know if I should be saying that on air. I'm a month behind trying to get this thing fixed. I finally fixed the part, and then the day after, it dies in the middle of the road. All the check engine light came back on, so now I can't go get it smogged again. And now I got to figure out what the problem is now. So I definitely didn't have my shining moment like I did with Enoch, and saying that if you just tell yourself it's not going to be a bad day, then you're fine. I was cursing a storm up and down, and then I still had to go to work. I hadn't even clocked in yet. I hadn't even gotten to work yet. Then I get to work, and it was just a shit show. When you work in trailers, everything is 52 feet long, and when you get it delivered, you got to offload that, and it's heavy as shit, and you got to put it, somewhere in the shop. And when you have 60 of something that is 53 feet long, not fun. So it was definitely a day, and it didn't end there. So just want to say that for all the people out there who are just like, you know what, sometimes life is too real to listen to that. I get you. I feel you. But we try to make it happen anyway. We try to make a good day with it anyway, and that's what we're here doing. Um, but yeah, it was a nightmare day. Nightmare
I'm
day.
sorry about that, bro.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I took the fattest nap when I got home. It was one of those naps where you like wake up like in a pool of your own sweat, and you don't know where you are. You don't even know your own name, and you're just like, what just happened? I woke up from one of those naps, and I needed it severely after today. I told myself the second I got home, I was passing out, no matter how tired I was. I was like, I'm just making myself go to sleep. I'm putting myself into a coma for this show so that I can come, with a
Prepare
positive attitude. And that's
vibes.
what's happening. I needed vibes, and that's what I got. I refilled on it with that
Is
nap.
it,
But
dude?
yes,
Is it? Dude, that feeling is also insane. By the way, whenever you're like, let's say you go. Whenever I was a kid, like go and hang out with my friend, and then, I stay over at their house, and then I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, where am I? And no, just me.
no, it
No.
happened to me all the
Oh,
time. I thought you were just
oh, okay.
describing like
No,
something that
no, no,
happened.
no, no, no. I remember
Yeah,
being often very confused. Also, one of the most awkward things whenever you like staying over at somebody's house is like whenever you're thirsty, but you don't know where, like,
stuff is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't want to go, like, I don't know, like you don't want to just wander around the house and it be weird to. Maybe that sounds off, like weird, like
No, I
normal,
think
but
I think for like, I have had like the same friends since seventh grade, so I got over that so long ago because our families are just intertwined at this point. But yes, early on, it was definitely like that. It was super super weird. And you don't know, like going to the bathroom sometimes, like
dude.
super late at night. You're like, I don't want to flush because I don't want to wake people up, but I also don't want to not flush because that's gross. Like like
Oh
even if
yeah, oh
it's
yeah,
like it's just weird. Like you're constantly having like these battles in your head where you're just like you don't want to piss anybody off because it's just not your own house. You know, it's just
man.
weird stuff.
Some good times,
Um,
actually.
yes. Okay, let's head into the small amount of Apex talk that we actually have here. Very small amount of stuff. There is some news, and a lot of it we will get to on the other side. I'm sure a lot of people want to hear about the Enoch situation with design and E8 deciding to move on from design. He has a full breakdown after the interview, along with a lot of the decision making going into that, and then some of the Twitter drama that happened and like what they've done to kind of squash it to the best of their ability. So I mean, it's not fully squashed, but it's just one of those things. It probably won't be for a while. It's going to sting for a little bit. But if you want to hear all that, wait till after the interview because it'll be all there. As far as other news as well as design news, Finn, you want to take the lead on that?
Yeah, I can. Let's see. Announced today, Alb is officially playing with Wildcard, which is not really a surprise at all. And then there's some Timmy scrimmies going on, which is AKA like LCQ scrims. And today, for those that don't know, because I wasn't completely sure like how all LCQ is working, but so this upcoming weekend is going to be Challenger Circuit, last circuit thing. And you have to have a certain amount of pro points in order to qualify for LCQ. LCQ does not happen until after this split two lane that happens in July, like mid July, and then the LCQ is after that by like a week, I think, or a week and a half. Anyway, that's why there's a lot of scrims going on at the current moment because LCQ happens in a month, and then obviously land scrims are happening because that also happens in a month, but a little bit less than that. So we're about a month out to the LAN that is in London. But overall, I think the last time that we talked on the pod, DZ was not looking good. Well, they are now. They're doing great. Them and 100 Thieves, TSM. I did see, yeah, two APAC North teams did pretty well. Naked JP, which is Japan, and then Ganbar Atusan, which is a team that was at LAN and was not bad. I think they made finals. I don't think they did well, but I think they made finals actually from the previous LAN and split one. But yeah, there's a lot of contest going on. I believe Vext is contesting TSM at Lava Siphon, and that's that's going full entertainment mode on Twitter for sure. Seen a lot of memes and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that is kind of like a roundabout. I don't know, not a roundabout, like a roundup. I think NRG is also doing well. Complexity and Alliance. I'm just looking at pretty much everything that Minus Tempo, who is the one that organizes all of this stuff. I did see that he was thinking about making a crowd-funded all champs team to go to the country, aka London, 3 weeks in advance. They could do a some sort of tournament like 3 weeks before LAN, which I think would be insane. But it'd have to be crowdsourced and crowdfunded. So we'll see if that ends up happening. Something to keep your eye on. But that is kind of the overview right now. Nothing too crazy. People just scrimming and trying out new players right now until this upcoming challenger circuit this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, and I have been getting some DMs asking. I haven't been practicing with anyone right now. I decided to kind of like put competitive on the back burner while I figure out what's going on with my truck. So yeah, there was a long line of people who were, trying to get me to play on their team, and I just couldn't happen right now. It's not in the cards right now. So probably next time though. Probably next time I'll be at LAN.
Maybe.
So it'll be there. It'll be there. No, seriously, let's have some fun now because really not that much. We need we need
Hold
this
on. What
land
if
so bad.
you did actually make LAN? Wait,
Dude,
what
I
if
think
we went to LAN as
I
a
think I could
group?
bring a lot to the table to be honest. Like listen, now that Enoch's not here, he always tells me they can just tell by your movement. They can just tell, they can smell you out like a
You
great
can.
white when you
Yep.
have like a small cut on your arm. They'll be able to find you, sniff you out from a long way away. I think even with that, I could still bring a lot to the table. I think I could still find a way to maybe not win, but do something. I think I would have one cool play. I think I'd have one cool play, and everybody would be like, "Wow!" It's kind of like Tebow won that one playoff game.
With
You
the
know, when he
like
beat
the
the
one
Steelers.
pass. Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
threw
the
that
one
one
pass.
pass, and they won the game. That was all Demarius Thomas, but uh, I could have that one play. I could have that one, like maybe I like shoot 3 bullets of an R99 and finish off a kill for somebody, and like the whole team gets wiped. Everybody's like, "Wow, he really did that. What a guy!" And then it just goes back to normal from there. But I think I could do something. You know,
We'll see. It might be in
I
the
th-
cards.
I would definitely do the Mandy thing, and if I did anything cool, I would stand on a table at LAN.
Yeah.
I would 100% do that. I think I may not be the best like player on like the in the game, but I would be a camera magnet. I'll say that. I'd be doing a lot of stupid shit. I'd be just screaming at like
You be the people's
people.
champ.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, anchor a camera on me at all times. I'm going to be doing some dumb stuff. I'm going to be screaming at people. I'm going to be standing on tables. I'm going to be doing cool dances. I'm going to be doing all of that. I would have synchronized dances too with my team. And so that would be something I would be
Wait.
practicing going into. How cool
Not
would
the
that be?
game. Not the game though, but
Don't need
like
that. Don't need the skill of the game. Just need listen, you can become one of the most memorable people in the world without ever playing a drop of Apex Legends as long as you have a cool synchronized dance. And I think I
yeah.
could do that. I think I could
Yeah.
bring that to the table. So, yeah, I no, I think we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But okay, seriously here. We have I was trying to think of what we were going to do today because we didn't send out any questions to be answered, and to be honest, we get a lot of the same questions already, whereas like we kind of already we got to let some things settle first. We got to get some more time run through before we send out some questions because we need to have more of a break in between. So I was trying to think what would be something that would be a good, interesting discussion where we could go back in time and put together our favorite thoughts about Apex Legends in the past. And one of my favorite discussions to have, and I think this would be really fun for both of us, Finn, is which version of each map, if you could bring it in, would lock in as your favorite version of each map. Now, obviously, Stormpoint hasn't really changed too much, and Broken Moon hasn't really changed too much. But at least for the first three, we've got Kings Canyon, who has gone through a million different facelifts. We've got World's Edge, same thing, and then even Olympus has gone through some of it. So, if you could have each version of each map, which one would you pick? Let's start off with Kings Canyon first.
Okay. Hmm. I think we've discussed this before with E. If we were talking like if we could split the map in two, like into halves, like what side, and you could take one side and the other. I think if I go back to that discussion, that school of thought, I really enjoyed Skulltown, the original Skulltown. I did a lot, and I think there's a lot of nostalgia in my answer, but I really enjoyed it. I will say this: the original Kings Canyon with the cascades and all that, man, it had horrible loot, but we weren't super picky back then, so it didn't matter that it was bad loot, right? So like we didn't have anything else to compare it to. So my answer would be season 0, season 1 of KC.
Okay. I was thinking something along the same lines, but I was actually thinking my version would be the first version with the Voidwalker, the Rift that was on the map. Was that after they added in the big old dogs on the map that were stomping around, the Leviathans?
Oh, the dogs, the
I called them dogs
dinosaurs, right?
forever.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that iteration, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one, because you still had Skulltown, but you also had that new area that could take away from the rest of it, and then it added in like that cool little factor to it. I also just like the lighting at that time. The lighting just felt really, really nice. And I was gonna say the same thing. If you could have version one with upgraded loot, like severely upgraded loot. I don't know if you like there's been some good maps in this game, but that one would contend, I think, with the top. Like it
It,
was good. It just had
that
no loot in it at all.
no, the north part of the map would need to be added, like how they have it with the spotted lakes and the crash site. I think if those two were added plus the OG KC, like I think we're looking at a pretty juicy map if they
Wait,
upgraded the loot.
was the cage in that version I just said?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. Was it?
Oh wait,
I don't
no, it
think that.
was.
I
It
don't.
was because
Was
they
it?
destroyed bridges. They
Right. I
destroyed
knew.
bridges and put the
Right.
cage there.
So Bridges was the first original map, the iteration of the map,
Okay, so then I
and I
would
enjoyed it.
probably because I hate the cage. I think the cage did a
I don't. I
huge
didn't like it
detriment to the
either.
map. No, I'll stick with my answer though. I'll stick with my answer. I'll say this that one, or I would even say this current version. I'm not too mad about. I actually like this version of KC. You don't get the same Skull Town, but it does have a very similar feel, and then you also get that northern part of the map, which I think is really really good.
Right. I agree
Um,
with that.
World's Edge.
This is tough too because once again, a lot of nostalgia plays into this. Really loved. Well, man, actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm going to go the newest version. Well, okay. It's a great question, Wyatt. Man, this actually makes me think because I love Sorting Factory. I think Sorting Factory was super fun. I enjoyed Cap City, the original Cap City. I also like, surprise pick sort of whenever the train used to move throughout the map. Do you remember that? So crazy.
The train was insane because everybody would kind of land there, and I never understood why. It was like you got one or two cool things, and that was it. And then you were basically just like, if you didn't get the gun off the rip, you were just dead. And then you
Yep.
were so far away from your teammates that they could never grab your banner.
Dude, that actually, you're actually so right because it used to be hot drop. Like you get hot drop on there.
Literally.
Yeah, but there's only what like 6 crates on the whole thing, and there's 20 people landing there.
Yeah,
So
every
no
game.
one.
It was like a
um,
fun thing to do every once in a while for me, but I was never that guy.
I don't think I'm going to choose the first iteration. Actually, I think I'll because in games and competitive, whenever it used to be a rail yard where now landslide is, was horrible because everybody was just up on the train cars and would just rain fire. I think we talked about it with Nocturnal. I'm pretty sure we talked about how busted those used to be. It would just you would just sit in a train cart and just kill the people from up top. Anyway, I didn't like that part of the map, but I think I'm going to go with this iteration with the new stacks and then the change to cap, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of that because I love Cap City going hot drop, but I think everything around it is very good. The loot on that map has gotten a lot better. So I'm going to choose the latest version of World's Edge. If I could be nitpicky, I would change like a few aspects. But if I'm going to choose one, I'm going to choose the latest version.
I'm gonna go with if you're gonna leave it on the table, I'm definitely going with the first iteration. I don't know if I've ever had any more fun on a map than original World's Edge, and it was just everything about it I loved. I had a few POIs that got destroyed in all of these different iterations and made me feel so sad. Number one was Fuel Depot. Fuel Depot, they had this long zip
No.
line over this water, like this crystal blue water. It's like this sulfur yellow underneath it. And you'd take that long zip line and you had no idea who was on the other side. But a lot of times there would be a team there and then you could go have fun. Also, you get original Cap City, which is always great because there was the Pentagon. I like to call it the Pentagon because it had 5 stories, even though some like a Pentagon has 5 sides, not 5 stories. But I would go on the Pentagon, and then we'd look across, and there's that zip line going to that red building that like was very open. It was like
Yep.
an incomplete building, and I would love fighting the team across from there. The other one was there was Fuel Depot, and then what was the one where it's now staging? It was there was a
Ew.
POI that used to be there instead of staging.
Are you sure it was staging? I don't know if it had
Yeah.
a. I know what it is, but it didn't used to have. I mean, Mirage Voyage was above it,
E-
but
e-
then
Hold on, let me look this up because it was
okay,
one of my favorite POIs, and I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it.
you're fine. If you can't, if you're, I'll filibuster while you're waiting. But the zip line that you're talking about from Fuel Depot up towards
Drill
like
site.
thermal.
It was drill site.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
drill site was my other favorite POI. I loved drill site so much. Drill site was awesome. It had like three or four buildings that like if you landed there, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to fight in. So yeah, I for those two POIs alone, I loved it. And then I was never really a big
So
fan of Harvester because I thought when you lose your favorite POI, Fuel Depot, and then you get it replaced with Harvester, it just never really felt the same to me. And World's Edge kind of fell out of my. I think it's a solid map, and I'm never going to disrespect it because it's probably the best competitive map or close to, arguably. But I don't know. I'd much rather play every other map than that one. But original World's Edge to me is got to be top notch. Got to be top
dude,
notch.
you forgot like well we you I said it earlier, but the sorting factory, bro.
And
Like the
Sorting
sorting,
Factory, dude.
dude,
Sorting
so
Factory
crazy.
was crazy. Everything happened at Sorting Factory, dude.
That was a hot drop for
Everything.
sure.
Uh
Like,
huh.
man, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff actually that came from that. Mm.
And then we got to finish it off here with Olympus. Now, there hasn't been too many changes to Olympus, and I think most of them have kind of added something. But if you could pick a version of Olympus, what would it be?
Bro, it's got to be this version. I really think having the term. I think the biggest asset to this map is adding terminal, which is the middle POI thing. That's like a long tube where it used to be just be a underpass going from I don't know Bonsai over to Hammond Labs. Like it was, but now it's a whole POI and it's actually pretty dang good. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't mind the newest version, and I think if I was to choose one, I would choose that. What Icarus was added the second iteration of Olympus, and then
Yeah,
the third one was Terminal plus the one place that you can get like the balloons that I call them, the little loot balloons that come down. Driver, dude, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's
phase
right next
driver.
to Phase Driver. That's right. It's right next to the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very good. I do love the idea of phase driver. It didn't make sense to me that you would have those two things like long across the map and you couldn't be in them other than just going through the phase. So I think that's really really good. But I will still go with the original because it didn't have a POI that I think kind of takes away from Olympus in where it's placed, not the actual POI itself, but where it's placed.
What do you mean?
Pathfinder's boxing ring. I don't think it's in the right spot. I love the POI, but I don't think it's in the right spot. I think it needs to be moved into a different
Ew.
area. I think it needs to be moved where the marble is. There
The
would be
marble. Wait, hold on. Marble?
the big blue marble in the sky. The
Oh,
rift.
Rift.
Yeah,
Rift. You call it
I
marble?
call it marble. Yeah, no,
That's
I
so
don't.
funny.
So the reason being is because you have carrier right there, which has always been one of my favorite places to go, and then you have docks right next to it, and then you put in this awesome PO. I think those are three really good POIs way too close to each other. Like way too close to each other. I think one needs to be split and taken away, and the only one that makes sense is to be able to move Pathfinder's Fight Night into a different spot. And I feel like nobody goes marble or rift, whatever you want to call it. I think if you put it inside there, it would make a whole lot more sense and do like a better split to the general area of the map. Because you have so many good POI, and I only named three. You could really name all of them. Like, isn't Bonsai Towers is close to like
Bonsai
they're all
Plaza or
Bonsai
whatever it is.
Plaza. They're all so close to each other, and it's just like this needs to be split up a little bit. If you don't
I
remember, original World's Edge, original Olympus was really barely a map. It wasn't around for a whole long time, so people don't remember what was there before. But it was like this area where it had like a bunch of shipping containers,
That was
and
awful, bro.
it wasn't a great spot, but if you put in perspective like how saturated that area of the map gets right now, and people are already saying it's not a good map for ranked, you kind of have to have some of those dead zones, especially next to areas that are super populated with awesome POIs. So I would move it over into the marble, have it over there, and then that would be my one nitpick thing. But if I could go back, I would do the original version as well. The only thing I would
Mm.
really miss out on, I think, is Icarus. I think Icarus is really really good and needs to be there. But I would have to like go into Lego mode and build my own Olympus because I have so many opinions on it. It is my favorite map. Like I
It's your
consider
favorite map,
myself, yeah,
dude.
I am hashtag
I don't.
Olympus Army.
Okay, the reason why I think that it plays poorly in ranked is because the map is so compacted, and the routes in which you choose to rotate are pretty much always centered around the middle part of the map. So
And they're always
terminal,
very defined. Like they're very defined. There's not too much variation in it.
right, exactly. Like there's not, yeah, yeah, exactly. So because of that, there is so many things being channeled to Hammond Lab slash terminal, or is that what it's called? No,
No, it's
turbine.
turbine.
Yeah, that all of the rotates go through there. Therefore, there's going to be so many third parties and so many fights that happen that are it congests the middle of the map, right? And it also feels like the POIs are super close together. It's not. It's kind of in a way. It feels like Broken Moon, except minus the. It feels like Broken Moon in the way that you can use zip lines to get to third parties super quick. Except on Olympus, it's just really, really small and super compacted, and I mean, you can land at a different POI and loot for 30 seconds and instantly. I'm thinking Pathfinder going into Power Grid instantly. You can third party a fight. It's just crazy how quick you can get involved, and I think that is the reason why it's hard to. I would say, well, maybe not necessarily in this current rank system, but in the past, it was a hard map to gain RP on because all like people were just aping everything or and you couldn't if you tried to get into a fight there was always a team waiting. So yeah, I just think it's a little congested, and if they changed it specifically, maybe just more routes to get to different POIs and space it out a little bit, I think it would be great.
I'm even looking at the map right now, and I realize even if I put it in marble, it would still be kind of close to everything. If you put it behind gardens, like when I'm talking about Pathfinder's Fight Night, that might even be good because then you have a good distribution of stuff. Because behind gardens there is not a whole lot of stuff there.
Back
Um,
then they
yeah,
had now
back
the
then.
lifeline thing.
Yeah, but no, even the lifeline thing. I don't know if you notice this. Loot's not great there.
It's
It's not.
not. It's
It's
not
not my
good.
favorite. It's not my favorite. So maybe you throw it back there, give it a reason so they could have a rotate from fight night to Lifeline's place. Do that. I don't know. I just something to mix it up a little bit, get that place out of there, and kind of
Oh,
spread it out a little bit.
you know what they could do,
That's what
Wyatt?
I would do.
Instead of having cannon, like orbital cannon, that's
Yeah,
awful. Instead, put the
put it
lifeline
there.
thing there, and then put the Pathfinder thing where the lifeline thing is.
I think that works. I think that would fix it so easy.
Nobody goes to orbital cannon. Do
Nah.
you?
No, every time I go to Orbital Cannon, I just get shit on. I don't know how to play that place. I'm also not good at this game. So there's that. But yeah, no. All that being said, because obviously we can't do Broken Moon or Storm Point. If you had to condense this map's rotation down to 3 maps forever, with all the ones you just picked, which ones are you going with?
The newest one for sure, which is really it's it's still clustered, but there's at least more loot. It feels more heavy on the loot, which
No, no, no. I
I
mean,
mean,
like so we just chose like our 3 versions of the map, adding
right.
in all of the like maps that we already have in rotation. Which ones are you picking?
I don't know what
Final
you're saying.
three.
I do not know what you're asking me.
So we just picked 3 maps from those versions. You add in
Okay,
Storm Point and Broken Moon.
that's 5.
Which ones? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pick 3.
Oh, pick
from
3 maps
yeah,
to play right now. Okay,
yeah,
sorry, I
in the
was confused.
rotation.
That's my fault.
No, you're good.
Storm Point, uh, World's Edge, and KC.
You go with KC over
Yeah,
Olympus?
yeah.
Yeah. I would probably go my version of Olympus that I just said, World's Edge, OG, and Storm Point. I think you need to have Storm Point in there. Even if I don't like it sometimes, I think it has to be in there.
It's pretty rough on pubs. I'm not gonna lie,
It sucks on
because
pubs, but if you in my thought process is if you add in that Olympus and Kings Canyon, or sorry, Original World's Edge, then I think it makes it a lot better to be like, okay, well we have this one that sucks on pubs, but we got 2 really solid ones on pubs.
exactly. No, no, I agree. I just think Storm Point is like still. I mean, there's a reason people will use it and play it in comp because it's big enough. There's enough spots that are POIs aren't necessarily on top of each other, so rotates are a little bit longer, which means more isolated fights can go down without being third partied, and a lot of decision making is just different on that map, which I love. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm getting rid of Broken Moon, I guess, and
Poor Broken
Olympus.
Moon. Poor Broken Moon. Yeah,
Bro,
I
it
would.
just, dude, is Broken Moon like the ugly stepchild now? Like
Yeah,
that
I
no one
think it
cares
has to
about?
be. Like, it has to be. What else are you gonna? What else are you gonna do? Like
That,
there's just weird things about that map, and I don't know if you could ever fix it. You know?
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it
It really
is.
is. That's crazy.
They tried something new though. I'm not gonna like hate on them for trying something new with the zip lines and stuff. And it can be fixed. We've seen maps suck, and they get something, and it helps them out. So maybe that'll be what it is. Okay. Enough about map talk. Let's do one more quick reversing the time. Not even really reversing the time, but just reminiscing and kind of picking what we think would be the best. I have a list of the hop ups here. All of the hop ups that have ever been in this game, and I want you to just pick 3.
Okay.
I want
We
you to
should
just pick
do
3.
we should do a snake draft because I don't want to steal from you.
You will steal from me if it's a snake draft.
Well, okay, right. But if I just say 3 right now, then you can. I don't. I'd rather us all. We have 6 different like opinions. Is
Options?
what? Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right. So okay. Who wants to go first? Are you going to go first?
You go first.
You want me to go first? All
Yeah,
right. If I
I'm ready
could
to see what
pick
you were cooking up,
one,
bro.
if I could pick one, what is my favorite one? Oh, select fire receiver.
Dude,
Bring it back to the Prowler.
no.
Yes, bring it
You
back.
literally just stole it, bro. No
Yeah,
shot. You actually took
100%. I'm
that.
bringing that back. 100%. I'm
Oh,
bringing that back.
I am too. I'm just like upset that you chose it because I was definitely 100,000% going to choose it. It wasn't my number one pick though. Number one pick, disruptor rounds,
Yeah,
alternator.
if you're going by pure, just absolute, just destroyed the game. In my opinion, was so stupid. Should have never been there. Yes, because it was too good. You had to have it. You had to have it to win.
Um. Okay, so I go back. I go again.
You got back to backs.
I think I'm going to do the bow, but if you time it right, what is that called?
That
Dead Eye
one,
Tempo. Dead Eye Tempo,
yes,
right?
yes.
I'm going to choose Dead Eye Tempo as my second option.
Okay. I'm gonna go with hammer points, and I'm just gonna stick with when it goes to the P2020 and what's it
Mozam.
called, Mozambique. If I could just limit it to those 2, make those 2 weapons good, have them like it gives them a reason to be played, and they're really good with hammer point rounds. So I'm gonna go with that. I love hammers on the Mozam.
Okay,
Feels good.
I
Feels fun. And then I
might
get
need a
another one
refresher. Wait, I might need a refresher.
on what? On some
The
of
hop
these?
ups on
I
yeah.
sent it to your Instagram.
Okay, let me get on the Instagram real quick. You want a filibuster?
Yeah. And then I get a third one here. There's so many good options. Um, damn.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there are some bangers in here.
I gotta take. I gotta take Rampart's graffiti mod. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go with Skull Piercers. I'll go with Skull Piercers to round out my draft.
I was thinking about going Skull Pierce because of the original Wingman and how it was guaranteed 110 in the head. It
Hmm.
didn't matter what like helmet you had. Didn't matter if you hit him with a Wingman. It was 110. You could literally get two tap, 220 damage, and just sit there and just you just died. And also the hop up used to be purple, like epic.
Yeah.
So it would be everywhere. Man, that's so crazy. Um,
You got one more, I think.
yeah. Oh, dude. Can I tell you? Can we do some honorable mentions?
Yeah, I'm gonna do some honorable mentions.
Okay, okay. I think. Mm, okay, I already chose Disruptors and I already did Deadeye's Tempo. I think I'm gonna go Turbocharger,
I
but
was gonna
that's it.
say.
It just feels like that feels like a cheesy pick. I'm not gonna lie. It just feels like a I don't know. Turbocharger feels like a gimme pick, like super easy. But yeah, whenever you had that on the turbo, you have that on the Havoc, excuse me, and I don't really ever pick up the Devotion.
Me
So even
neither.
if I had that on, I'm not sure I could even aim the gun to where it even matters if I have the turbo on it or not.
Same. I'd rather skateboard with a devotion than actually use it as a gun. Yeah, no, 100%. The one I was gonna say for honorable mention, and it's how stupid of an idea it was. Quick draw holster. Uh, like it was. They put it on the guns. Wasn't it on pistols where they already had? It was like it makes your zoom in speed a lot, ADS a lot faster, and you can pull it out a little bit faster. And it's like that's already what
No,
they
it was
do.
reload. It was reload speed.
Reload speed?
Yeah, it was reload speed on the Wingman.
Oh, wait, am I thinking of the wrong one here?
No, they ended up changing this. I think. Is it? Hold on.
No, I feel like this one was the stupidest one. I got to
Okay,
look it
let
up.
me. Yeah, I was. Yeah. Okay, some underwhelming ones. Shatter caps.
Yeah, they
I'm
ended
just
up
gonna
just
say
putting
it.
it in the weapons.
Yeah, they were like, wow, yeah. Okay, shatter caps, trash. I'm not gonna lie. But now it's not that bad. Now that I understand shatter caps, I don't hate it. I
Yeah,
will say Anvil receiver on the flatline in R301 was actually not that bad. So
I
I'll put
loved
that
it.
in honorable. I'll put that in honorable mention.
That one I always like having around. I don't always use it, but I always liked having it around. Hold on, I'm
Precision
looking up.
choke. What?
I'm looking up this hop
Oh,
up.
the holster. Quick draw holster.
Yeah, hold up. Let me see.
Am I thinking of
Okay,
boosted loader, bro?
I think you're thinking of boosted loader. Okay, so let's see. Reduces the weapon swap time, ADS speed, and hip fire spread.
Okay, I'm an idiot. I must be thinking about boosted loader then. But wow, that is very underwhelming.
I used to call it like a coaster. Like you'd throw it on there and you're just like, whatever.
It's like a
Huh.
meaningless hop up.
Like I would honestly rather have Rampart's graffiti mod on there. At least you get the fun part of shooting paintballs. At least you get
Well,
that part.
okay, so the graffiti mod, are we not talking about like the actual reload speed that you get on those
This was
weapons or
before. This was before that. Remember when they
oh,
were trying to like promote Rampart because remember that was the weird season where it was like it was kind of like the COVID season, and I think they were just trying to get like some hype generated, so they threw it down on there. And they used to do all these cool things back with Legends where they would try to tease them up, and now they don't really do them as much anymore. But I remember remember when Crypto was being teased, he was actually in like an Easter egg where you could see him
oh
in the
yeah, I
game.
remember
And
that.
then with Fuse, they had those bombs that would drop at the end of the game that emulated his ultimate. With Horizon, there was that one Easter egg where you got her tactical and you could, in certain areas on certain parts of the maps, you could use them.
That was
Uh,
I remember that for Octane. Like they used to have that for Octane. They had random Octane pads right outside Market
yeah,
like a long time ago promoting him. But
yeah.
so
They used to do that with Legends, and that was hers. Was it was like you would get this random hop up, and it would just shoot paintballs in all LMGs, and we're like, what does this mean? And then we got Rampart. That one was fun though. I think that one's still better than Quick Draw Holster, to be honest.
I think I'm agreeing with you. I think precision choke. I remember thinking, why would I even use this? I was like, I used to like the PK even like not choked, which
Yeah,
sounds
I
weird.
wouldn't. No, I would do the same thing. I had a weird theory in my head that if I had the precision choke on, that I would actually miss more shots and it wouldn't give me as much damage, which is just dumb. But I would turn it off, and I would usually do better with it.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did the same thing too. What is dual shell?
Dual shell. I don't even remember. Let's look.
What is that?
Dual shell. Dual shell.
Double trap trigger is
Um,
also is like a honorable mention because
Dual shell
that's
allows
gas.
compatible weapons to reload 2 rounds at a time with the Mastiff and the 30-30.
So that's basically it. Already has it has that in the 30-30.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that? Where
Yeah.
like if you have 6 and then you shoot all of them and then it reloads 2 at a time is essentially what that means. But that's
Double
pretty
tap was always
underwhelming.
kind of good. Double tap might be my honorable mention of one that I might take.
Yeah, I agree. Just because that on the G7 is so obnoxious at like mid to like mid long range. It's obnoxious if you can hit your shots. It's gross.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. We need a
all
good.
these
We
other
need a.
ones, yeah.
One day they need to just do a. They need to just do like an LTM where all of them are on the ground and it could be possible as like loot, and you just have
Yeah,
like all gold weapons or something.
and it's all yeah, yeah. I like that.
No
I
armor.
like that.
Yeah. So there's the hop up draft. Definitely some hop ups I completely forgot about. Not gonna lie. Definitely some hop ups that I had no remembrance of them ever being in the game. Mostly because they probably just got integrated into the guns kit already, which we've seen many a time. But hop ups, pivotal point of this game. You gotta respect the hop ups. You gotta love them out there. You also gotta love our next guest, Mande, who was on the show for the very first time. It was a great interview with Mande. We talked just about everything under the sun. It was our first ever Sunday interview as well, which was chaotic, but that's how we do it. That's how we like to do it here at the Apex podcast. Ladies and gents, thank you for taking a trip down memory lane with me and Finn. And then on the other side of this ad, you're going to hear from Mande. And then after that, you'll hear Enoch's side of the story with the Designful situation and Heart to Heart. Let's hit the quick ad and get into it.
I
I've never
know.
seen that part of it.
I haven't either. That's
I
actually it's
usually
tripping me
just
out
see
a
the
little bit.
flag.
Yep.
And now that I'm seeing the back part, it's
Oh.
like it's creeping me out. I'm like, damn,
Yeah, it's
bro.
I was like an addict, dude. Oh my god. Someone's gonna crawl in, dude.
Anything to say to that? Nothing.
Well, I mean, this is like it's the same setup I have. I always have it. Typically, my camera's a lot more.
Remember when
Wait,
we were
how far up is your monitor?
No, one time, Mande, we were
Yeah.
interviewing somebody
It's
and a
like
bug
a-
just walked up the side of his monitor like throughout the interview. It was the
Yeah,
craziest
it was
thing.
Wait, that's so far up, dude.
I'm in like a basement.
No, that is. Wait, you actually sit proper?
Yeah, I sit on like I don't have a 1-on-1, but I have my Herman, and then I sit like about like a arm's length away from my monitor.
That is crazy.
And then I try
I
to
look
make sure
down
that I
like
have
this.
decent.
Yeah.
I try to have good posture when I play.
Yeah, that's scuff for me, dude. I can't do that.
Is this the first ever cold open of any interview we've ever done? Should we just run it this way?
Dude,
just run it like this?
Yeah, we can.
What's up, everyone? We are here chilling with Mande, content
Your-
creator
your thing's
for
not working.
TSM. Mine's not? What
No,
thing's not working?
your camera.
Your camera's
Yeah, it is.
fine on man. His
My
camera's fine
camera's
on
not
me.
working?
Yeah, your camera's working for me.
Yeah, it's fine too. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right.
On mine,
Yeah.
it says live video will return when their internet improves.
Huh?
Oh. Your internet just stopped working for 2 seconds before. Maybe it's you, Like you literally froze when you stood up.
This is the coldest open you could possibly have.
Yeah.
It's the coldest open ever. What's up, everyone? We are here with Mande from content creator for TSM. Mande, how you doing, my man? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. What about you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. It's a great Sunday. Actually, I think this is like our first ever Sunday interview. So congrats to you. You were the first ever one.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you. But you're
Means
here.
a
You're
lot. I'll put
chilling.
a Twitter bio.
Yeah,
Everything
you
like
should.
that. Yeah.
You should. Well, everything's been kind of going up for you recently, man. Just kind of go through your feelings so far and how you've kind of been doing with content creation and Apex and all that different type of stuff?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Content creation in Apex has been super stale lately. Like it's so hard to like do something that's entertaining for me and for other people. And I don't personally feel it's entertaining to sit and just run the rank games back to back to back to back with people. Um, so I try to do other stuff. I've done some video games and stuff. It's hard to figure something out. Starting to dabble a little bit in maybe like some just chatting variety into like some other games, trying to see what people are feeling and stuff. So it's like not a hard transition because I'm not transferring anywhere, but it's like a hard like you have to find like a middle ground between the growth and the making people see that I'm not just a content creator in Apex, but just a normal content creator.
Yeah, I can definitely tell it's kind of weighing on you because as you started explaining it, you had like a halfway yawn going through talking about Apex. You had like a halfway yawn going. Yeah, it definitely hasn't been the best. What do you think is the biggest contributor to kind of the staleness of Apex right now? Do you think it's the rank system being bad? Do you think it's the lack of updates to different stuff going in the game? Like what's kind of contributing right now to the staleness?
There's so many factors. Like there's literally so many things. Like a lot of people are playing the game right now because it's easy to get masters, so therefore they're not watching the streams, if that makes sense. That's like one of them. Two, a lot of people feel like the game is super boring and stale. No updates really. We gotta go map rotate, but literally everyone's playing Nemesis R9. It's super boring. There's no uniqueness about anything about the game right now. Everyone's running the same characters in comp. There's no like different things. New games are coming out. Everyone's playing Diablo. I am. Like Diablo's a big grinder. And I just like, it's just amazing, dude. Like they just need to figure it out because there's so many good things and so many games that are doing good stuff for the games right now. Whereas Apex, it seems like they're just going downhill. And yeah, like I'm pretty sure the average player count is down 25% since last season or something, or 22, like some crazy number, and they just gotta turn the boat around. Like I know they can, and not, yeah, and like listen more to the community and like what people want rather than, listening to some other people that maybe don't like have an idea of what Apex is or what the, like what direction it needs to go for the game to become the great game that it can be. And
Do you think the
Overwatch.
decision? Oh, Murphy. Do you think the decision to get rid of the splits was a good one or a bad one? Or do you think it hasn't really had an effect?
I think, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like having more splits would be good. And very, very unpopular opinion probably, but having 3 splits in a season wouldn't be bad. Because you see, when people play, it goes up when the splits are there, and then it goes down again, like throughout the day. So like throughout the entire split, right? So right now it went up big time, and now it's gonna go down, and it's gonna go down for so long because people are just gonna get masters, and then there's nothing to play for. Before you had something you could go for, but now you just get masters for free, and then boom, what now? There's no incentive to get pred. Pred is like 150k. No one has like 15 hours a day to play, like 17 hours a day to play to get that, right? So there's no incentive to play anymore after. So you just get masters, boom, load up Diablo, play for 2 months. I'm not joking, dude. Load up Diablo, play for 2 months, gear up, come back, new season, boom, masters, get out of the game, man. There's no incentive. There's no like, you don't get any rewards, you don't get nothing, and that's a big problem. And if you want to keep someone playing your game all the time, you need to keep getting them like the ding 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 all the time, like loot boxes, skins, do this, weekly events, all that shit, right? But there's nothing of that. It's just, here, take the game, we're not gonna touch it for 3 months. And that's a big problem, dude. Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, enough about Apex and where it's at right now. What I want, and I think what the people want, is the Mande origin story. Because I
Origin
mean,
story.
everybody knows Mandy as like the 5 to 10K viewer Andy, but I know, you know, a few people know that wasn't always the case. And
Of
let's
course.
just hear the come up story from you can start back from as like getting into gaming to then getting into Apex, and then your journey through comp content and just really the work that you did to get to where you're at right now.
Yeah, I can. Let's go back to my high school days. A lot of people know this, and a lot of people probably don't. But I dropped out of high school, and the reason for that is because I was very sad and incredibly depressed that I couldn't go outside because I feel like I would do something stupid. And a lot of people don't know that. They always see me as the Mandy's always so happy and all that stuff, right? But nobody really knew I went through like a very rough period of my life for like 2 years where I didn't really know what I wanted to do, or I hated school. Like, I hated going to school every single day. It's the most boring thing in the world. And yeah, I just didn't know what to do in my life. Then I dropped out of high school a month and a half before I was done. So unlucky. And then I went to Overwatch World Cup with the Danish team. When was that? In 2017, I think. And we went there. I was the water boy. And yeah, I was just chilling. Nobody really picked me up for Overwatch League, and I didn't really know what to do. Apex comes out, and my friends were like, "We should play Apex." And I'm like, "Nah, the game looks ass, dude. I'm playing Overwatch, dude. Overwatch is shit, right?" It wasn't. But my roommates started playing Apex, and I think he got a win in like the first 2 days he played. And he came and he said like, "Oh, I just got a dub in Apex and shit." And I was like, "Nah, that's just too easy." He was like, "You can't win a game." And then I took it as a challenge. I'm gonna play it, dude. I'm gonna show you. I played like for a week. He kept getting more wins than me, and I was like, "Damn, like I gotta grind more." And then I started grinding big time. So what happened is, I started grinding the game, fell in love with it. I think it was cool that I was like doing good. I was grinding stats big time. I was a big time stat grinder back then, and a lot of people don't know. But and then I've been playing for how long had the game been out for? Like a year. I was a teacher's assistant back then also, and I think I'd been playing the game for a year, maybe like 6-7 months, and I wasn't really going anywhere. I was on between 10 and 15 viewers average on my peak. And I was thinking like, you know what, maybe this streaming stuff is not for me. And I was telling my roommate that, you know what, maybe I should just quit streaming and just go back to school and like maybe figure something out. And on the day I told him that, on the evening, half an hour later, I got a DM from North asking me if I wanted to trial for the team. And I was like, there's no way. Damn. What are the odds, right? I trialed for the team, me and Matafa and a guy called Jory. Jory doesn't get picked up, but I get picked up. I go to North. I quit my job before, where I hated working there too, because the what's called the boss was not super nice to the coworkers. And I quit my job. I went full time North, and my dad told me actually before I signed the contract, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell you one time, and I'm gonna tell you this: don't sign the contract if you're not gonna give it 100%. I was like, Dad, I'm not gonna throw it away. And I had a conversation with him where he was like, you know, when you sign a contract with esports org, that is when you start going even crazier than you did before. Yeah, it's not time to relax when you signed. A lot of people think that, but it's not. That's the time to go insane and start grinding even more. And I didn't really do that in the start. I grinded Apex, but I grinded off stream. I didn't really want to stream. I didn't really see a point in it, you know, because like I told myself, you know what, why would I stream if I have like 12 viewers? It's not gonna do anything, right? Fast forward a little bit. Tashin, he's rank 1. On the team, he has like 2K viewers. I'm stuck on like 12 still, 15. RPR has like 60, 70, 80. And I was like the small guy. And I was thinking, damn, like I want to do that. I want to stream and become like a big streamer, huge streamer. Back then, I was thinking 100 viewers is big streamer, you know? If I just get 100 viewers, dude, you know what? Damn, dude, it's gonna be big, right? I just want to stream all the time and all that shit. And I kept on grinding for those. I kept on grinding for those like small carrots and not thinking, okay, I need to become like a 10K viewer Andy tomorrow, or 20 or 30 or 40. It was more like, okay, 1 month I averaged like 20, and then next month I averaged like 22 or something. And then one day I played with Lulu and Euris, and we had a fun time. And then it ended with, then it ended up with me, Euris, and Lulu playing together all the time. And my stream just steadily grew. I think I went from like 50, like to like 50, 60 viewers to like 110 to like 200. And then after a few months we played together, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, Lulu made you, and you wouldn't have a career without her and stuff." And it actually got to me, and I got very sad and annoyed about it. So I stopped playing with anyone for a month to see if I can keep my viewers. And then I went up in viewership, and I was like, you know what, I deserve this, right? And then ever since then, I just kept going crazy for
That's crazy.
all the times people don't stream. I'm streaming, you know. I want to stream like at least 200 hours a month, between 200 and 250, because you just want to be there, you know. The more time you're on the ladder or the leaderboard or whatever you called it, the more time, you know, the more time people are gonna have a chance of like following you or finding you. And I was very jealous once. Ship was obviously the biggest streamer in EU, and every time he would get on, I would just lose like 50, 60, 70% of my viewers, right? Boom, like instantly in like half an hour. And it would piss me off and like annoy me, because like that's just annoying, right? Like, why did they leave? Am I not good enough? And then I spoke with one of my friends, and it's actually a quite funny thing, but you need to understand that there are different tiers of streamers. There's the first choice streamers that are the big ones, and then there's the second, third, and fourth choice streamers, right? And that's like that core category a lot of people fall in. And there's nothing wrong with being in the category. I found out like it doesn't matter, because they're watching me as like their second choice, and that's fucking sick, dude. Like, I'm someone's second choice out of the millions of people that stream on Twitch, right? So you should try and like change the negative things about stuff into like the positive things, and it helped me a lot. And I stopped caring about what other people's viewership are and stuff like that, and I just grinded myself, you know. And yeah, and then we won some championships on North, on Scars. I mean, we won some big tournaments on North. We won some big tournaments on Scars. We're never considered the best team in the EU. Actually, we're always Alliance in front of us. And you know, guys, you guys know, I got to a point where I didn't really enjoy playing comp anymore, and I didn't really enjoy playing with people that didn't put a lot of time and effort in like I did. Mm-hmm. So I quit the team on Scars, and then I fortunately got signed to TSM, and now we're here. So yeah.
Would you consider yourself the best LAN sub?
I don't want to say anything like that, but
you could say it. Hey, you could say it.
Like,
we all know. Yeah, we all know.
It sounds cocky, but I'm one of the better LAN subs, because I've played multiple LANs now, and I still play the game a lot, so I can still keep up with like the pro players and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you could definitely keep up, bro. Like, you're insane.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing that I think the first time that I was really kind of introduced to you was, I remember someone saying like, "Oh, dude, the charge rifles in the game. There's this guy that's in EU that is obsessed with this gun, that is so good with it in comp. You should watch him. Look how insane it is on M&K." And I was like, you know, still transitioning over from console and all that sort of stuff. And then I think it was probably, it was 2021. I think it was the tournament that you guys won for EU. And I just remember one clip you had like 4 or 5 just straight like 100 shots on a charge rifle on a team that was taking a redeploy and like got an instant like almost squad wiped a team, and I was like, this is different, bro. So it's not just the charge rifle, but you're also pretty good with like the longbow and stuff. So I would love for you to talk about maybe this. Do you think that you're considered like like the best sniper player in the world? Because my gosh, it's got to be either you or Fun. And I mean, I might put all my money forward on you because you're insane.
Real quick before you answer that, I'll say I'm pretty sure my first ever interaction with you was when I was playing ranked and I was fighting at like the cage in KC, and I was getting charge rifled on repeat by you. And then I remember I died to you, and I remember seeing, I was like, this kid is a signed pro player playing like this? What a loser.
Yeah.
And then eventually like we became friends, and then we started gaming and having fun times. And then I wasn't on the receiving end of that charge rifle, but I remember that first time I was like, this guy is such a loser.
I remember Del2 unfollowed me. That was like a very long time ago. We had like five games in a row. We landed like the same exact spot, and I got a charge rifle all games, right? And I killed him 4 games in a row. He's like, if Mandy kills me one more fucking time, I'm unfollowing him instantly. Next game, boom, instant kill Tinder. He was like, no, but
Did you get the follow back eventually?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, but I think I'd say I'm one of the best sniper players in the game, but I also tend to play a lot of off meta. I used to play the bow a lot. Also, people remember me for that.
Man of culture in class.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Nah, the charge rifle has been really bad because I was one of the only people that played it in the entire pro scene, and I would mid tournaments, LGS tournaments, I would get DMs on Discord saying, if you charge rifle one more fucking time, I'm gonna explode. So yeah. So definitely I think the EU scene is very happy about me not playing anymore. But I consider myself one of the best sniper players in the world, but I'm also one of the only players that played sniper. So yeah.
What do you think that is? Do you think people just didn't see it as viable as you did, or do you think people just weren't as good as you, and therefore they didn't get as much value from it?
It's super bad gun. Charge rifle is really strong right now because SMGs are meta. But back when I played it, shotguns were meta and SMGs weren't at all. And it was like a really bad setup having charge rifle PK. I threw a lot of our games having charge rifle PK because when you get into that mid range, it's literally impossible to hit shots with the charge when they're like up close. And you're not really in good range to hit with the PK, right? So yeah. I don't know, but
did y'all play around that? Like, did y'all play around you always using the charge?
Sometimes I told our player that we're like, okay, we have a chance of getting Godspot, but Godspot will amount us to 0 kills and nothing. Why don't I take the second or third best spot and then play like a high ground where we can get a bunch of kills too? So that was like, sometimes we played around that.
No, I was scrolling the Twitter before we started this thing, and I saw something that hit close to home for me as well. And it was, I think it said 265 days since the bow check has been ground loot, and I have been begging for the bow check to come back. I suck with it, but I just like having a bow on me at all times. I feel like Legolas, and so I just want to have that with me on my back. What do we got to do to get this bow back? Like, can we start sending out some DMs? Do we need to start attacking people? What do we need to do to get the bow back? I want the bow back on the floor.
They're not going to put it back. And I think they're not going to put it back for a lot of reasons. A lot of people think it's OP, but people still don't use it. They just think it's OP because they hate getting shot across the map by me and like other people. And there's also like the ammo type. People are fucking annoyed about the ammo type. Like, people are like, oh, it's taking up so much ammo and loot on the floor. But like, what? What if it was just a P20 that's going to lay there? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So I think what would make sense is they put the Nemesis in the care package next season, and they take the bow out, but have it permanently in crafter, because then there's no ammo type on the floor, and then you could just craft it if you need it, and craft the arrows, and that's like one thing. So yeah.
That is something that I've been saying for ever since they took it out and they put it in the care package. Because, like, to be honest, I feel like when you get a care package gun, the bow is good, but it's never going to compete with like some of the other ones that are out there. I feel like the bow fits that type of weapon that the crafter would be made for, like permanently. Like if it was
Yeah.
always in there forever, I feel like that would be like the perfect epitome of what the crafter weapon is for. And I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity to have a different gun in the care package when the bow could easily just sit in that crafter.
Yeah.
Especially like you said with the ammo type thing. I miss it so much though. I miss
Same.
just being able to have it all the time. And I'm missing shots with it left and right, but it's still fun to have. I think it's one of the
Exactly.
funnest weapons to use in the game, honestly.
100%. I agree. That's why I pick a bow over a Kraber any day of the week.
All right, I kind of wanted to get back to just your come up, and you were talking a little bit about how you had a little bit of jealousy with some things, and you had issues with people, kind of saying you came from Lulu and being attached to her stream. It's very rare that you hear like a streamer kind of divulge into some of those problems, some of those issues that they had coming up. A lot of times, it's like, "Nah, I knew I was the best, I was the greatest, whatever. I just found a way." That's usually what we hear a lot of the times. But it seems like you were very candid and open about some of the things you were kind of like struggling with. Was there anything else that you kind of found that you throughout your journey that being a streamer isn't as easy as it seems to like the outside person? Because I think for a lot of people that are like streaming, that's what I want to do. It looks so easy. I get to just game, do whatever all day. But there's probably a lot of parts to it that can be very stressful, and you probably have to work a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah, agreed. I try and there's like a lot of good things about it. Like you can pick when you want to work yourself and stuff. But I think the biggest one is you having to be on all the time. You always have to like know like the Twitch metas or what people are playing, and you have to watch other streams to be able to talk about what's happening there in the world. You have to like either be good or entertaining. You have to have a good amount of energy throughout the entire thing. Stream like 6 times a week, if you want to keep up with the, like with the wave and everything like that. And it's just like, I don't know, like today I took a day off to eat brunch with some friends and stuff, right? And that was super nice. But I'm ready to go tomorrow again for 10 hours and stream again, right?
Mhm.
So like, it's not like you go to the 8 and then you're off at like 5, like 9 to 5. That's what it's called in NA, but it's like 8 to 4 in Denmark. And then like you get off at 4, and you're just like you don't have like any homework, you don't have to do anything, and you don't have to think about job anymore. It feels like you have to do that because when you're streaming, and after that you also have to do other things. Like today, for example, we do the podcast, and that's like also hours that's taken out. That maybe you want to do other things, and like maybe like you're writing with people about like edit videos or anything like that, right? I'm doing content with TSM more now, so like that's also like a thing. Like I take like maybe 2 hours up to make content and stuff, right? It's just like a lot of extra hours that's going in plus the 200 to 250 hours stream a month, right? So it's like, and then when people are like, oh yeah, but just stream less, like then I wouldn't have grown to where I am now. If I just stream less, if I just did like 6 hours a day, I would have probably been like a third or a fifth of the size I have right now, right? So it's just like, yeah, it's hard for that, and then it's also hard. Not for me though, but hard for mentally for people. I've heard about the whole like, oh, you gotta worry about like how many viewers you have like next month, and what if it falls? What if it falls even more? And like you're super scared about it. And I haven't really been in that situation, so it's like hard for me to talk about it. But there's definitely some hard things, but there's also incredibly easy things about streaming. So yeah.
Can you touch on the consistency side of things? Because
Yeah.
I feel like of all people that I've seen throughout like the last 3 years that I've been heavily involved with Twitch, I don't think that there's been a single person that has set I mean, I feel like you've had the same schedule for I don't even know how long. And so if you could just get into a little bit about what that is and how long it's been going and how critical you think that's been to the
Yeah,
success you've had.
very critical, 100%. I don't think I would have been where I am right now or even close to if I wasn't as like on point with the hours I stream every day. I try and hit about 10 hours a day. Sometimes I do 8, of course, 9. Sometimes I do 11 or 12. But I try and hit about like around 10 hours. And the reason for that is I think it's important to become a comfort streamer. A lot of people don't know that, but I think it's very important to try and like when people get on, they're like, okay, Mandy's on, because I'm almost always on, right? When people get home from work or they wake up in the morning, so therefore you become people's comfort streamer, and that's a very, very, very strong thing to be. If people can kind of rely on you being on the majority of the week, that's 6 days a week, then people are gonna be more prone to watch you if they like your content. They're gonna be watching more, and people actually think that you get watched less because you stream more, and then people get bored of you. But that's not the case at all. It's more like a comfort thing. Like people have comfort shows. People watch the same show on Netflix over and over and over again, and people are like, that doesn't make sense. Why? Watch something else, right? But that's like their comfort. That's like they like the show. You know, why not? Why watch something else when they like the show? Same with streamers, and you also being a part of a community that grows, and you see the growth of it. It's like it's something people want to be a part of. Like see like the ups and downs and character development and stuff like that. It's like watching a show on Twitch, kind of, if that makes, but with real people, you know. So yeah.
No, I can speak firsthand to the comfort streaming type of thing, because when I was first in college, there was like one or two streamers that I knew they would be on the second I got home, and then I knew they'd be on when I woke up for work that morning, like you described. And it was like just knowing they were going to be there. It was almost like a devastating feeling when they weren't there, when you were going into like class or something like that, which sounds stupid because you're supposed to be paying attention in class, but like I'm in class for 3 hours. I'm gonna definitely watch some streamer. And it never, like, I've always found that it never has to be super super interesting. It just has to be somebody that you vibe with and you feel like their personality kind of matches yours. So 100% the comfort streaming thing, I think, is where a lot of people want to get to, but I don't think a lot of streamers realize how important that is. Just your presence being there, being available on the same time, same schedule all the time is just a massive thing for somebody who is a consistent viewer.
Also being yourself. That is incredibly hard for a lot of people, but be yourself. I can't stress it enough because it's impossible to be someone else forever. You can't do that. I've seen a lot of people in EU and NA that skyrocket in views because they're all like, oh no, I'm so nice, you know, all that shit, and you just know behind the camera they're just not super nice or anything. Or they're just like they have like more like a toxic personality, but they're not displaying it on stream. And then as soon as they hit like a steady edge of like viewership and it goes down a little bit or something, then that's where they show and like shine themselves or like show their true self, right? And I think it's really really important to be yourself, because then you can't fuck up because you're yourself on stream. Like there's nothing you can do about it. If people don't like you, they don't like you. There's a lot of people that don't like me in the Apex scene and don't want to watch me because like, oh man, he's fucking annoying, he's loud, he's screaming, dude, like he always throws games, he doesn't take it serious, you know? And it's like, okay, you don't like me, you know? I can't make everyone like everyone. I can't like something my dad told me. My dad says a lot of shit to me, but something my dad told me too is like, you can be the best tasting apple in the world, but there's some people just don't like apples. You know? You can literally be the best apple in the world, but nobody likes. Somebody likes like nobody like not everyone likes apples, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, so that's like a super important thing that I feel like a lot of people don't do. And there's nothing wrong with overplaying your personality. Like, of course, I'm not gonna be like I am on stream 24/7 because there's a lot of shit going on. Like a lot of like a music going, like I'm twerking on stream, whatever the fuck, right? It can be all that shit, right? It can be all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Like you're allowed to overplay who you are because of course it's like a what's it called? It's a yeah, it's a show you're putting on for everyone. But like just try and be yourself as much as possible, because it's literally impossible to be someone else all the time.
One of the things that you mentioned, and kind of a big part of your, well, or at least from the time that I've been able to watch you and enjoy your content, your dad's been a very interesting and fun character in your life whenever it comes to your stream. Can you speak to his support and your family support whenever it comes to streaming, and what all that like how that has impacted you to keep going, and kind of the personality of your stream in a way is somewhat impacted by your dad too in a way?
Of course, my dad has always been a showman. I've seen that my entire life. He always likes making people laugh and have fun, at, like, dinner parties and do goofy shit. So I've always seen it. My dad and mom weren't incredibly supportive in the start, but that was just when I was sitting home and playing video games, right? But then I had a conversation with them, and they said, "We're gonna show you this apartment that's right above us on like third floor, and you're gonna buy it, and you're gonna pay for it, and I don't know how we're gonna do it, but you're gonna do it, and we don't care what you spend your time on as long as you can take care of yourself." Because I was just living at home at that time, just living on my mom and dad, right? So they're like, "We don't care how you spend your time. You do whatever you want with your free time, right?" So that's what I did. My parents like bought the apartment for me, and I started paying it off, and I got the teacher's assistant job and stuff. And then as soon as I got north, then they started, like, being more invested. And when the stream got bigger, they got more invested. My mom has like multiple pictures of like dates of like me hitting like 5,000 followers on Twitch, and 10,000 followers on Twitch, and like 15,000 followers on Twitch, and like 20 and 50 and 100 and stuff, right? She has all those pictures. And then she would like take pictures and send it to me and be like, "Oh, you're almost at whatever, right? Like, I'm so proud of you and stuff, right?" So of course, like, me having people that support you around you is really important. But there's nothing wrong with but people not supporting you, like being around you and supporting you, shouldn't like bring you down or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's your life, and if you can take care of yourself, then you should just do what makes you happy, right? So if streaming makes you happy, maybe you're not gonna turn into like 100,000 viewer streamer or like the biggest streamer on Twitch or anything. But if you're happy streaming, then no one's gonna like take that away from you or whatever, right? So I feel like people just need to do the things that make them happy more, and not really worry about like if they're wasting time or anything. So yeah.
To go back to the competitive side of things, do you have a favorite moment whenever it comes to competitive that like sticks out in your mind?
I want to say when I won the championship, because that's fucking massive, right? But I think the last one in London, when we won the game and I stood on the table, I never felt like that before in my life. I think that was just something else, man. It felt crazy.
Did you get yelled at for standing on the table?
No,
Everybody was
actually
chill?
not. Yeah, he was like, "That was fucking sick, dude." But they're yelling in my ear to take me down. So yeah, you have to get down, right? So he was like, "That was sick as fuck." And the cameraman, he was like, he dabbed me up after. He was like, "That was crazy, dude." And he was so happy he got a picture of it. So
yeah, the cameraman was
That
probably
is
freaking
funny.
out, because that's a sick ass moment to get. What
Yeah,
what
he-
made that moment so, like, why does it feel better than any feeling you've ever had?
because like I'm not I wasn't considered a pro player. Of course I was, because I play pro, right? But I played the game, and I've never played Horizon before in my life, before I started playing with the boys. Like, ever. I had like 20 kills on her or something. And then we got top 5 at LAN. And that moment right there was like when I knew we qualified for finals. That right there was the game that qualified us for the finals, right? And I was just like, I was ecstatic, right? And like I said, my dad's a showman, and like I like putting on a good show too, right? And I feel like people love that, when there's like personality in people, and not just like just sitting here grinding zombie mode, right? When people have a little bit of a personality or an edge or anything that people can relate to, I think it's super fun, right? I think that's super important.
100%. And you kind of mentioned it. You mentioned like when you're streaming, sometimes it's okay to be you want to be you, but it's okay to kind of accentuate a little bit, go a little
Of
bit
course.
beyond what you normally do. Whenever you log off like a 10-hour stream or something and you've been kind of like going and going and going, the second you click like stop stream, do you ever just get instantly tired from just being like
No.
so no, you still feel
No.
good?
Yeah,
Still
I
feel
feel
good?
good. I feel good for like half an hour, and then
Yeah.
I go in and I'm chilling with my girlfriend. And I'm like, I'm tired as fuck, dude.
Yeah, so it takes a while to hit.
Yeah. But I still I still walk the dog in the evening. I just chill, go outside, get some fresh air.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's really important.
Ooh, going off that, can we get a like day in the life, a typical day in the life of a Mande stream?
That is so boring, dude. Okay, wake up between 9 and 10. Instantly, like literally get up, like alarm ding, up, take socks on, clothes, whatever, walk the dog, go up, hey, good morning, how'd you sleep? You slept good, nice, I'm happy to hear that. Boom, kiss on the forehead, I'm streaming. Go in,
You
It's
kissing
like-
her on the forehead, or is she kissing you on the forehead?
I'm kissing her on the forehead real quick,
Okay.
boom.
Nice.
10 hours later, I'm coming out. That's it. Dude. And then I'm tired as fuck. Maybe sit and play some video games. Maybe I'll watch some stuff with my girlfriend. I think I'm gonna after the podcast here, I'm gonna go like order some snacks, and then we're gonna watch something on the TV, and then boom, like that's just literally my day. And people might think like that's boring as fuck, but I like streaming. I don't really mind streaming taking off 50% of my entire life. That's okay, because it's something I like to do. I'm 10 times more happy right now than I was ever in my life. So
Do you always think that streaming is going to be the thing that you do as your full-time profession, or do you think that there's like a lifespan of, I love what I'm doing, but I can only do it for so much longer?
there's a lifespan, of course, but if you get to a certain, like, of course, I'm shooting for the stars, so I want to be like one of the biggest on Twitch. But
Mhm.
then the lifespan is kind of forever. Then you just make enough money to retire whenever you want, right?
Mhm.
But if that doesn't happen, I'm probably gonna work in esports the rest of my life. I don't see why I wouldn't. Maybe become like an agent or like a manager or anything like that, right?
For sure.
But yeah.
Definitely making the connections now that could, for sure help you in the future as well while you're also doing this, right? So you get to
Yeah.
enjoy this job, but then also you're creating a lot of friendships and relationships that can eventually down the line also help you in your future career if it ends up, you wanted to stop streaming, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing,
Yeah, and I also think it's important that to say that I'm not a person that makes friendship with people because of what they have or anything. If I'm friends with you, I genuinely like you, and I don't care about how many viewers you have. Because if I cared about that, I would only play with people with a lot of viewers, and I don't do that. I like to play with my friends. I don't care if you have 3 viewers. I don't care if you have 3 fucking trillion viewers. I'll play with you if I like you. And I think it's important to have those kind of friends. And Enoch is the same. I'm just gonna ride Enoch a little bit glazing, right? Enoch played with Enoch played with me when I was super small. Like I was like nobody knew who I was, and we played together, and we've always been the same towards each other. And then when he grew more and I grew more, then we're just still the same. And I think that's very important to have friendship like that. That it doesn't matter what you have or anything like that. If you just stay the same. And it's very hard to come by, but I've gotten a lot of friends, good friends in the Apex scene. So yeah, I'm very happy about that.
I still like vividly remember we were playing one day on Olympus Ranked, and we were just having like a very like honest conversation about everybody just being like whiny bitches in Apex and how they
Yeah.
just needed to like stop, and that it was just pointless for them. And I knew from that day, I was like, yeah, this is my dog. Like, this is the boy right here.
Yeah,
Because
that's
at that
hard.
point, dude, everybody was complaining, and it felt like there was like maybe like 5 of us that were out here
Yeah,
trying to have fun, trying to make the most of it.
yeah, exactly, and that's
it was
important
nice.
too. People, the thing is, people watch Twitch to get away from reality. So if you're sitting there and being a bitch and being annoyed and all that shit, then it's like, damn, like I'm trying to get here and like have a different kind of energy. I have a shit day. I want to see somebody smile and stuff like that, make my day better, right? And I think it's important to have a mindset like that. of course you shouldn't put on a fake persona for being just like, oh, I'm always happy, you know. But there's nothing wrong with like being annoyed, but boom, snap instant back to like maybe something not so negative, or talking about like some like some positive things, right? So yeah, it's hard to have a positive mental attitude, but you need to try your best, because if you wake up every day with the mindset of you're gonna have a really good day, then the average day is gonna be better for you than if you wake up and you think today's gonna be a shit day every day, So yeah.
I think
Sure.
I think that's a beautiful thing. Just you pretty much have that mindset of what was it? Was it Kobe or LeBron or Steph or somebody? Basketball reference, but they were like, I'm always going to try my best because this could be the first time that somebody watches me
Oh
play,
yeah,
like play
LeBron.
basketball. Yeah, but for you, it's the same thing. Like you, with how large you are, there's going to be new people in your stream every single day, and so you got to remember, okay, this might be the first time somebody watches me. How are they going to see me in this moment, right?
Yeah,
And so, but also at the same time, you do have to be real, sometimes as well.
of
But
course.
I just everybody's not going to have a perfect day. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. But as long as you're real about the situation and you're able to find like balance in between it, then I think it's good.
Yeah.
Another personal experience, because you talked about the comfort streamers and I brought up a personal experience. Another personal experience with like people who complain. If you're going to complain on Twitch, you have to be like a super freak out master and just do something crazy over the top, like Daltouche when he early days when he was just smashing shit all the time. That's
Yeah.
funny. But if you're just going to sit there and complain a little bit, nah, it's not that funny. You
And
got to go
cry.
all the way or not at
Yeah.
all. You can't be in the middle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's I did kind of want to go back to something you had mentioned a while ago. You said you dropped out of high school and you said that there was a lot lifespan to streaming and you'd like to do other things. Has that involved you considering maybe going back to school, maybe try and get a degree in something, or like how do you plan on moving with that going forward?
I'm never hitting the school bench ever again. I hate school too much, dude.
Respect.
I literally just there's nothing wrong with liking school. I can't stand it. Sitting down in the same chair every day and looking at a chalkboard of someone that doesn't give a fuck about us, that just writes a bunch of dog shit on the fucking like on the fucking projector thing or whatever, and that's it. And I just don't like that. I just don't want to do that. I want to do stuff with my life where I actually wanted to become a teacher's like an actual teacher on a boarding school once, but not anymore. So yeah.
Because then you'd end up being that guy writing dog shit on a chalkboard.
Not really. You could be the difference, Like
Yeah.
all the teachers I remember are the people that, like like touch my heart, like in a different way other than just going in and writing something on the chalkboard, but like actually engaging and like trying to get everyone to be a part of the entire like experience of being like in school, and then trying to like, oh, this guy's really bad at just sitting down, maybe make him walk around or go somewhere else to make the homework, and maybe he'll do it, right? So be like one of the teachers that make a difference, and not just one of those people that just that just don't really want to be there.
I think for everybody listening right now, you can think of the few teachers that actually made a difference on you, and you can think of the teachers that just wrote dog shit on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Because I got a few of those as well. Finn, do you got the
I have the
double
double tap
You
ready.
got the
Yeah, I
double
got the
tap
double
ready?
tap ready. Yep.
Hit him with it.
Okay, so how it works is I'm going to say 5 statements or 5 different things, and then you just say what you think in one word. You describe that statement in one word. Or 2 words. Some people do more than that. It is what it is. You do you, but try and make it short. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Number 1, the Sentinel.
Perfect.
Number 2, Pathfinder.
Masterpiece.
Number 3, ALGS in EU.
Aware.
Say that again?
Aware. It's an
Aware?
emote. Is that where you smile and then you go frown face and sad?
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4, competitive Apex played on Kings Canyon.
Never again.
Yeah, that's fair. Number 5, reason why our listeners should watch a Mande stream.
No one else is on. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, E, you want to hit him with your famous
Of
final
course.
question? Hit him
Of
with
course, of course. Okay, so my question that I typically ask everybody who comes on the show, because everybody who we have coming on the show is performing in the top 1% of their field, and you are certainly no exception to that, from both streaming and content side of things to as well as performance in the game of Apex itself. And so I always like to see if they have one piece of advice that they could give to anybody, regardless of the field that they're in, that's trying to get to the top 1%. Like, what would that be?
Confidence. Confidence is crazy. So yeah. And also, there's nothing wrong with failing. Failing is completely okay. And people need to stop looking down on it. There's nothing wrong with failing. But there's something wrong with not giving it 100%. If you want to do something, give it 100%. All the time. If you give it 100%, you can't give more, and you did your best. And there's nothing wrong with not achieving what you like. So yeah, you should always try and shoot for the stars, and don't just settle with stuff and give things like the thing. If you want to be a painter, fucking paint, dude. Do it. Give it 100%. Not just that half-assed, like, oh, I'll paint like one time a year, whatever, right? Like, actually do it. And same with streaming and stuff like that, and everything else in the world. If you have time for it, do it and put in a lot of work and time and effort. There's nothing wrong with not achieving what you want to, because you gave it 100%, and you can sit back and be satisfied because you gave it 100% and gave it a try. There's nothing wrong with trying. Because in like today, it has become not cool to try. Like, it's not cool to try stuff. And that is really weird, and people need to get away from that.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like you see it all the time on social media. Somebody will kind of stick their neck out and try something for the first time, and they just get roasted because they actually tried something different, and it may have not been the coolest thing they ever did at first, and then they feel, just from the negativity, they're like, well, I'll never do that again. It's like it's such a weird society we're growing up in right now, where people are legitimately trying to better themselves and trying to do new things and things they've never done before, and it's just weird. It's like the internet will come at you for nothing. So
But that's how they are. It's because people are incredibly insecure, and they wanna put it down upon other people because they can't cope with their own insecurity, so they wanna ruin other people's day. So yeah.
yeah, well, I a lot of respect to you, and Mande, thanks for hopping on the show. This has been great.
Wait, one question.
You got another one?
I have one last one.
Hit me with it.
Okay. Have you given it some thought? I know you're a sub, but have you given it some thought to like go back into competitive full time? I think people want to ask that question or no.
If I find the right team, you will see me back.
Ooh. Okay. All right. You heard it. You heard it.
Yeah. So, yes, sir.
Step up to the plate. Somebody out there. Grab Mande. Snag him up. Snag him up. Mande, once again, though, thank you so much for hopping on the show. It has been awesome. And hopefully next time we talk to you, well, I'll say maybe, if it's the right fit, hopefully next time we talk to you, maybe you'll be back in this competitive scene and hoisting that trophy, getting another trophy. You already got one behind you sitting right there. So maybe we'll add a second one to that trophy case. Mande, thanks for hopping on, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Of course.
All right, ladies and gents, that was Mande. Appreciate Mande for hopping on the show. Great guy, awesome person. Long time coming, to be honest with you. Mande, he was great. Shout out to Mande for hopping on the show. Ladies and gents, we have a situation here, and I think Enoch should be the one who takes the floor for this one here. But Design has been moved on from E8. I don't know. I tried my best to say that delicately. They have E8 has decided to. E8 has decided to move on from Designful, and I don't know if you were in on that decision, but I would like you to kind of take the floor and talk about where that came from for your guys' perspective.
Yeah, so I ultimately was the person who ended up making it, but it definitely was far from just a me decision. throughout the last time that we played, we showed up, we played some great Apex, some of the best that we've ever done as a team, and we were optimistic, things were looking good, and we were all hopeful that we could continue that performance moving forward. And then with how good of a performance that was throughout the season, there was definitely some issues that we experienced and dealt with as a team, and a lot of them, unfortunately, were led by Tyler, like design, and his attitude, somewhat of an issue that we had experienced. And this goes all the way back to when he was playing on G2 with Chaotic, and there were multiple times where something bad would happen, and then it would just be chalked in Design's head for the day, and it would just be a negative presence towards the team, and it would lead to Zach and Chaotic not playing as well. And that's something that Chaotic had been experiencing for a while. And then going into it, we were hopeful that this would be something that we'd be able to work on and fix. And then as we were coming up to this LCQ, Tyler was very much making it clear that his priority and his focus was doing the stream grind, going for rank 1, doing that, playing as much as he was, decided that he didn't want to scrim. And then I had originally said that I was fine with that, but like you, just like a month out, you need to focus on scrims. And then Chaotic and Zach scheduled a meeting with me. We talked, and it basically came down to that we didn't think that with the way things were going, that we were going to be able to see the character change that was needed in order for us to be the successful team that we knew we were capable of. And so unfortunately, we had made the decision that we were going to move on and drop Tyler. And then later that night, I had decided, I was like, okay, you know what? I want to give him a shot. I want to give him a chance, see if we can make this work. And so I had proposed that we ended up telling him of like, hey, like if you can change the way that you approach the game, because the way that he was approaching the game from a very grindy perspective, we believed was a main problem to why he was having the emotional state issues that we were dealing with. And then from that conversation, he had made it clear that he would be trying to make comp a more priority, but he was still intending to do the grind. And at that point, it left us in a position of, okay, we can see how this goes, see how SCQ goes, see if he's able to do it. But there was a lot of doubt on our end on whether, like, given the situation and the way that he was going to be approaching things, that those changes would be able to be made. And so it had absolutely nothing to do with Tyler as an individual, like, skill level player. I'm a firm believer that he's one of the best players in the world, and I could not be happier to see him playing with Enemy and Timmy, and I think that's a great fit for him, and I'm really excited to see what he's able to do with that team moving forward. And like, he's a friend of mine. Like, this sucked. Like, this was like, last week was not a fun week for me. I had to let a guy who I've been friends with for 3 years off of the team that I coach, because it was basically the choice that I had to make in order for the betterment of the team, because it had gotten to the point where our two guys were in a position where they no longer wanted to play with him. And so I ended up having an individual meeting with him after, where I told him that we were going to be moving on, and that it sucked, and that I loved him, and I hoped the best for him. And yeah, I'm excited to see where he's at. But it really just came down to, it wasn't a good mesh, because through this season, we had times where Tyler basically forced us to change our comp because he had seen a lot of success in a community tournament on Loba, Ash, Rampart. And so we gave that a run, didn't have enough time to practice it. Zach didn't know how to IGL it. That week's chalked. Then the next week, he puts us on a different comp with Horizon, Bang, Seer. And again, similar issue, didn't practice it, didn't have enough time, chalked. And so a lot of our weeks, and then there was other times where he had disconnect issues, where he had mental issues of where something like Zach made a mistake first game, and then the entire rest of the tournament was chalked. and his vibes were bad. And it was really just a internal conflict that was seemingly unable to be resolved. And so that's why we ended up at the decision of having to move on from playing with Tyler.
Yeah, so once again, like you had mentioned before, he's been playing, Design has been playing with Enemy and Timmy. They've been kind of ripping it up together, like you mentioned. Also, I would like to point out one thing that he said, because he hasn't said like a whole lot on it, but Madness said, hot take, an org isn't giving you a paycheck so you can grow your stream. They're paying you to be competitively the best. If you're neglecting the comp side of things, don't be surprised when you get dropped. And Design responded, and he said, not really when you played every single tourney and scrim and then take a week off because you're given the okay to do so. It's definitely some snake ass shit. I don't think I've ever missed a tournament since AA days. Like I said, though, shit happens for a reason. I didn't vibe with the guys on the squad, and they just don't grind the game on a level in which I would like to do with my team. So overall, we have different looks. I hope they fix some variety streamer or something and pop off. So he did have a little bit of a statement, kind of calling it out. Said
No,
snake ass shit.
see, I had a little bit of an exchange with Design following it about the idea of it being snaky, and then I explained where I was coming from in a fairly in-depth position, and where he's coming from. I had given him the okay that he was able to miss those scrims and focus on that up until a point, and then, but it really just came down to the fact of after we had the meeting and he still wanted to be putting a priority and a focus on the grind, it didn't give us the affirmation that we needed that the problems that we were experiencing were going to be dealt with. So a big misconception is that this decision was entirely made because he was doing his Twitch grind and going for number one. That was not the reason that he got dropped. He was dropped because, as he said, like, he wasn't vibing well. There was multiple instances throughout the season where his vibes would get chalked, and then it would bring down the energy for the whole team. And Design is a very extroverted and outspoken person, and so he had an exponential impact on the team as a whole. And so if our games and our tournament days really came down to like whether or not Design was going to be in a good mood that day, and as a team, it just simply wasn't fair to Chaotic and Zach to be in a position and then address that, like, hey, this is something that we want to see fixed, and then not see effort being made to work on it and change it. And so that is like the reason that we ended up moving away. And that's something that I really want to clear up, especially here, is that he did not get dropped because he was grinding ranked. He was dropped because it just was not meshing with the team well. There was multiple instances where he would just have like a negative emotional impact on the team. There was a couple times where he would be butting heads with Zach and wanted to take over IGLing because he thought Zach was the issue. And when I go back and I watch the film and we go through the VODs, I don't think that Zach's the issue. And so it was unfortunate, but it was, in my opinion, the decision that was best for the team. And me and Design's relationship probably won't ever be the same, but I think he doesn't like me a little bit less than he didn't like me a few days ago. And I think that'll continue. And hopefully one day we'll be at a point where we could have fun, play ranked, and enjoy each other's company. I'm not sure how soon that's going to be. But I think it's the best move for both us and for him. I could not be happier for all the success he's having with streaming and now playing with Timmy and Enemy. I think, yeah, as I said before, that's a great fit. I think that he is in a fantastic spot moving forward, and I could not be happier for him. And I hope that we'll be able to find the person who's going to be the right fit for our squad, as we've reached out to a couple people, and then some people are deciding that they'd rather just stay with their team, see how things go. But I'm confident that we'll find a third that will be able to work well with us, and will be a strong force moving forward. But we'll see.
E8 Enoch stepping into the chair.
No,
I was gonna ask, how is that?
Well, see, a decent amount of people have said, like, why don't you just play? Because, like, you're good at the game. Like, why aren't you just playing? And I'm not playing because I don't play Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. And there's just no world where you can be a third of a team and not show up on one of the primary days that games are being played. And so I'm very aware of that. And somebody was like, well, why don't you just, somebody said, like, I've seen like lots of Christians playing, like, why aren't you playing? And so, like, I'm not a Christian. And for me in my life, there's nothing that I could possibly be offered that would get me to break observing Sabbath. So, like, Friday night sundown to Saturday sundown, there is nothing that you could offer me that would get me to break that. And so, playing Apex Comp, I would absolutely love it. It would, like, I'm a former Division 1 athlete. I love competing. I love, like, working and proving that I can be the best. And when I switched over to PC and when I was on the rank grind, like, that's what I was doing. I wanted to hit top 10, and at one point I would definitely say that in terms of Apex, like, controller players, at one point in time, at least in my head, I was without a doubt top 10 in the world at one point. Am I at that point now? Absolutely not. With everybody who's competing on roller, everybody who's having the immense success, and the difference that competitive experience makes in terms of your overall skill level, I understand that that's not where I'm at anymore. I still think I'm, like, top 50 for sure, probably. And would I get exponentially better if I, like, committed myself to playing Apex Comp and made that the main focus and priority? Oh, I think I would absolutely run laps around the majority of the people in the scene, because they're just incredibly lazy and undisciplined. And I think it's pretty shameful the way that they approach it. But even with all of that, it's not gonna, like, I'm not playing on those days, and I can't be a third of a team and not play on those days. But I can coach. I like, the difference between me not showing up as a coach for, like, that time period versus me not showing up as a player for that time period are exponentially different. Because as a coach, I can put in systems, I can put up the way that we handle things, and I can set up my team to succeed. So that way, during those days that I'm not there, it's not as big of a drop off as if I'm not a player there and we have to roll in a whole sub. And so, you know, EA Enoch will not be stepping up to the plate, and will be playing in ALGS. That is just simply not in the cards for me, and I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right. Well,
question.
we got that cleared up. Got that out of the way. I'm still LFT. What was your question, Finn?
Wait, yeah, White's still available.
No, we don't have to.
People need to.
I got
Stop sleeping.
I got a few offers, so I mean,
a few people in your DMs right now, just.
I
chilling?
could put you guys in the, take a number, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What was your question, Finn?
How do you feel about the people that say that you shouldn't be making the decision for comp stuff since you haven't technically played comp?
What, on terms of, like, the decision of design?
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, the decision that I made from design, it wasn't even the decision that I ideally wanted to make.
Right. No, I know. I was just saying. I saw that directed towards you, and I was like, I wonder how he feels about this.
Personally, I didn't see that, but for anybody who would have that position, just because I haven't played in comp doesn't mean that I haven't watched it for long enough to have a general idea of what works and what doesn't. And as someone who has spent as much time with the team as I have, being able to get a very thorough understanding of the team dynamics and how things work, I think it's pretty silly to think that just because I haven't competed, it doesn't mean that I'm not in a position to be able to make a decision that is right for the team. I mean, if that's their position, I mean, they're entitled to their perception. I don't really have any care to change it because I just simply don't care about them having that opinion, right? Because it doesn't affect me at all. And yeah, I think that like is Tyler a higher in-game IQ player? Like, sure, he knows how Apex works at a competitive level better than I do. Zach as well. They both way more knowledge in terms of that side of things. But does that mean that I'm not able to analyze and realize what's going on and why the team's not working? And especially when I have two guys on my team telling me that they don't want to play with somebody anymore. You don't need any amount of competitive experience to be able to have two guys tell you that they don't want to play with somebody and then say, okay, I'm going to make the decision because this is how you guys feel. I still think that there's a world where we were able to make it work and we were able to succeed. It just came down to the team had lost faith in the ability to make that happen. And once that happens and you realize that like a guy who's played with somebody for almost 2 years now says that he thinks it's best to move on, it's hard to, like, as much as I would want to try to make it work, it'd be completely disrespectful to that person to say, I don't care about your 2 years experience. I don't care about your concerns. We're going to hope for the best. And so
Yeah.
Design isn't a bad player. He's one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens that the dynamics of the team, it wasn't working out as we had hoped. And so a tough decision had to be made. And so we made that decision. And now we're going to do our best to make the most of it moving forward.
That's damn right. That is damn right. Finn, I kind of want to get your opinion on just maybe not the behind the scenes of it like we just went through with Enoch, but as a team moving forward, maybe what do you think this does for E8? And then also any fill-ins that you think that maybe they should trial. We won't say who they've been trialing or talking to or whatever, but somebody who you think would fit with this roster.
Good question. Okay. So before E even got there, I would say that there was, I felt as though the team was like kind of a hit or miss situation. I felt like them and Lanimals were very similar in one, like in the way that they were formed, but also in the way that they kind of operate as a team with their emotions. Like they're very everybody on the team is emotional in some regard, and that's how I felt about it. I did think it was interesting that Chaotic and Dez did end up playing together after their G2 stint together, and then picking up Zach. I didn't hate the pickup. I think that they were, they had a chance to pop off because they've all popped off in some regard in the past. And so in that, because of that theory, on paper, it's a team that could maybe work out. But sometimes, like we saw it with the Lanimal situation, like a lot of times attitude or personalities can clash and therefore can cause some turmoil, I guess would be the word, in the camp. And I don't know. I think Rambo could be a really good fit for them. Maybe he's more of a support, whereas Tyler's more of a fragger. Since Chaotic is probably going to continue to be in that fragger role, I'm thinking Rambo. I'm thinking maybe Funk or like Slayer, maybe. I don't know. I think there's some really good roller players out there. I'm assuming they're going to go for a roller player just because of the dynamic of wanting to play Edge, where they land on their different POIs. And all things considered, this team is a team that wants to fight and be in your face. So I'm guessing a roller player is probably going to best serve this team. And once again, I think Chaotic will still have to, depending on who they get, I think Chaotic's going to have to be the one that is moldable in a way to where he has to be versatile in his play style. Because if they bring in a fragger role, right, like two fraggers, like I guess it worked out for meat lovers, I guess, with tech and kind of showcase that you can do that with two fraggers and just having one support, but it is a lot more harder to execute in this current meta that we're in. So that's a very long-winded answer to say, from my perspective, I guess it would sort of be a biased perspective, but like not really knowing what's all going on in the backside of E8's camp, besides what all that E has said on the pod. I am interested to see who they bring in and how that will affect specifically Chaotic's role on the team. And do they have enough time between now and LCQ to do well? And to kind of mesh together to figure out like a strategy going forward. And yeah, that's my thoughts.
There we go. We got the E8 situation broken down. Lots to talk about there. Lots to break down there, because it is always tough when we've never had this before, where somebody's actually coaching the team and has to make a decision. So definitely a first time for all of us. Ladies and gents, we're gonna throw it on down to the heart to heart and set it on the rest of your week. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gents, it is heart to heart time. Heart to heart time. Boys, does anybody have a heart to heart? Let's hit it. Nobody?
I can rip it.
Okay, they rip it.
It's gonna be a heart to heart that I've had previously, and it's just focusing on just enjoying it, right? Because like I've had quite the week where I came back from, I had some time off, and then I came back. And obviously, whenever you take time off a stream and you come back, numbers are going to be like slightly lower. But I had the absolute just beauty of a situation of, not only am I coming back from some time off with some, like with everything that entails, but also the time that I've been going live and that my schedule is set to, just so coincidentally, is the same time that international scrims take place. So instead of me just being a morning Andy competing against all my fellow morning Andys, I'm a morning Andy competing against all of the best Apex players in the world, who are all streaming them playing their scrims for the most anticipated tournament in the next couple months. And so it's an experience, and it's something that I have to look at, and it's like, okay, well, I just need to enjoy it. I still need to be grateful. And it's an opportunity for me to look at the numbers, see them not quite where I'd ideally like them to be, and be like, okay, well, I'm thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful that I'm in this position. I'm grateful that I still get to wake up and I get to do this. And even though it's not working out as well as it could, I'm still here. I'm still doing this. Like, this is my job, and I just need to enjoy it as much as I can, and be grateful for all the things that I have to be grateful for. And even the position of having to let go one of my friends from my team and possibly losing a relationship as a result of it. At least I'm in the position where, like, because I could be doing a regular 9 to 5. I could have given up on the stream grind. I could have I could not even be here doing any of this, not having an impact on all of the people that I get to have an impact on. And so whether I'm riding the high of the, like, just soaring up and experiencing all the greats, or like going through the lows of it, regardless of it, I just need to focus on enjoying the process and being thankful that I'm here. Because even at the worst it's been, it's better than anywhere where I was at like 3-4 years ago. And so I know that the more I focus on being grateful and the more I focus on enjoying it, the better that my life is going to be. And so I just get faced with a nice little test of, okay, am I able to do that even when things aren't looking as nice? And hopefully I'll be able to walk away from the situation showing and proving to myself that I know that I can. And I hope that I can hold on to that joy regardless of how many things happen that might want me to instinctually let go of it.
That's beautiful stuff. That is beautiful stuff. You've definitely had a tough week to forget maybe, but you're back, and it's all about living in the moment and just appreciating what you do have, not the things that you probably had to go through that weren't as fun. So that's good. That's good heart to heart. Finn, do you want me to go or do you want to go?
Well, I was real quick to add to that. I do think, yeah, even though this was a challenging week, it's something to learn. Like you definitely learned a lot, and you
Mhm.
learned like how to be in an uncomfortable. I mean, you've probably been in multiple uncomfortable situations. I mean, you talk about the cold shower and all that sort of stuff, but I low key think that has kind of prepped you for to be in those uncomfortable situations. But that's just
Oh,
more
and
so
something else is
commending you
this.
on
So
that.
like I've taken more, like I've taken 8 days off in the last 30, which is nuts for me. Nuts for me to take that much time off. And the crazier thing is, I'm planning on, like, I'm doing the 24-hour. I mean, well, we're recording this on Sunday at this moment in time, but I'm going to be doing the 24-hour Monday going into Tuesday. And then the plan is, as of right now, that then I'm going to take the rest of the week off and finally go on the way, 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 way over delayed honeymoon because I need to. Like, I want to go and spend that time with my wife, and I want to get myself out of this mindset that I'm too busy and I can't take the time off to do it. And I need to break that mental barrier that I'm setting in my own head. And so even though I'm looking at the what, let me peep. This is wild to me to be looking at. But when I look at in the month of June, right? 11 days, I've only streamed 41 hours. And I'm about to take 4 more days off. And that is low. That is like, part of me wants to be absolutely terrified of like, dude, what's going to happen? Like, what are you doing? You can't be taking this much time off. But those are all ideas and limitations that I'm putting on myself and setting in my head. And hopefully by me doing this, I can break through that and then allow more of the abundance that I know is waiting for me to flow in. Because I know that my abundance that I have and that is waiting to flow to me, it can't come if I'm holding on to and telling myself that I'm in a position of I can't take time off to go spend time with my wife. And so I'm going to do something that's scary. I'm going to push through it. And I'm going to make sure that while I'm there, I'm not even going to think about it. Well, I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to try because we've previously talked about saying not using the word trying. And so I'm not going to get stressed out. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to enjoy the time as much as I can. And then I'm going to come back and my community will be there. If it's not as big as it once was, that's fine. We'll get through it, hills and valleys. And, I'm going to make the most of it and it's going to be okay.
All right. Finn, your heart to heart.
So this week I don't really have a heart to heart, and that's okay. But don't have anything that I can specifically think about. But I'm gonna try to work hard to figure out. I mean, dude, the biggest thing that I'm actually now thinking about is on the interview with Mandy. Georgia is pooping in the background, bro.
That was so funny. Hey, spot the poop. If you can find the poop, be the first one to DM us the time, the exact moment that you spotted the poop, and you'll win a pat on the back from me. A round of applause.
Yeah, but I just was trying my best to keep it calm. It smelled horrible, bro. It smells so bad. I was pushing through for that interview. I'm not gonna lie.
You had to be. That was like a podcaster ATL tear, ACL tear.
Yeah, but I continued on and played the full game. It's like Tyler Hero shooting that 3-pointer after breaking his hand.
Yep, that's what you were dealing with.
But
People
that's
say
my heart to heart.
podcasting
I
isn't a
know.
hard job.
Yeah, I had to talk. I get to talk for people, and they listen, which is crazy. So, I guess I'm learning to be a father, but I'm not I'm not even gonna say that I'm being a father. I'm just learning how to take care of an animal, which is like pretty basic stuff. But yeah, that's my heart to heart. If you can see, also on the video version, I have hair all over myself, on my hoodie, and it's because she is in prime shed season for her summer months. So I'm getting all of that as well. So I'm learning a lot, trying to be clean, trying to keep my duplex nice. But anyway, that's my heart to heart, which is not really much of a heart to heart, but maybe you can relate.
Yeah. I don't know if I can relate exactly to a dog absolutely dropping a bomb mid interview, but I could definitely see where that would be tough. And learning how to raise something. 100%. My heart to heart this week, I kind of talked about it at the beginning of the show, which was I guess I'm just trying to say it's okay to not 100% be okay with life coming at you all the time. It is probably better for you to take and handle every situation where you remind yourself that this doesn't have to dictate your day. That is 100% true. It probably is like a good thing to do, but also at the same time, sometimes life just gets in the way too much, and we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes, and it's okay to blow off some steam a little bit and you know curse a few times, yell a little bit. You're human after all. But I think the most important part is just making sure you learn how to uh, better prepare yourself for the next time it happens. And Mandy talked about how big failure was and how nobody should be afraid of failure in the interview. And this is why. Because if you don't fail at all and then something bad happens out of nowhere, you are not well equipped to handle it. But when you have these failures, like now, if I have a car like get stranded in the middle of the road, I'm gonna be like, okay, I've done this before. I know how to handle this. And to be honest, like nobody even honked, which is kind of crazy. I think people just understood, oh, his car just died or something. And you kind of realize like no matter what, like at the end of the day, yes, was it hyper stressful and could have ended really bad? Yeah, probably, but it didn't. So let's not think about that and let's just learn how to handle it, move on. Next time it happens, we're good. And so with this failure, with today's failure, I'm better equipping myself for the next time it happens or the next time I'm able to help somebody else out with it and to be able to keep my cool so that they can better keep theirs. So I think that's my heart to heart this week. And yeah. And that should just about round out the show. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Cannot wait for you guys to see what we got coming up here in the next coming weeks with all of the guests we're gonna have. ALGS, ALG. I said ALGS.
You just said that.
ALGS
Yeah,
action.
that's a gem for those that.
That's a gem for the future. Yeah.
For those
Hashtag ALGS, another TSM win. I guarantee I'm going to see that.
I hope somebody. I mean, I hope the people that listen, at the end, they heard that and just started chuckling at their desk somewhere. Man, like that's so funny.
Yes. So we got all of the ALG ass action coming up here pretty soon. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Lots of cool guests, lots of cool stuff going around. It will be the best. Don't forget to click the link down below, follow along to all of our social medias and join the Discord because things are coming your way from the Apex, the podcast. We'll catch you guys next week for another episode of the Apex. See you.